Professor Elias Carter held in his hands a fragile manuscript, covered in Arabic script and strange symbols defying translation. He had found it buried deep in the archives of Cairo University, a section no one had entered for decades. Between its lines flowed the legend of a city buried beneath millions of tons of sand. The place where gods sleep, it was called. Carter couldn't shake the feeling that the city wasn't just a myth. The architectural descriptions in the text seemed impossible. Walls that reflected sound like mirrors, arches that caused dizziness when crossed, frescoes that made your eyes water. He assembled a team, archaeologists, linguists, cartographers, and, backed by the mysterious Hadid Foundation, set out into the Rub al-Khali desert. The local Bedouins refused to accompany them, averting their eyes and repeating a single word: Lana, a curse. On the sixth day, during a rising sandstorm, Carter noticed the dunes shifting, revealing a shape in the rock. It was a door, enormous, carved from black stone and covered in bas-reliefs that made him nauseous. He couldn't tell if it was from the heat or because his eyes refused to make sense of what they saw. They were standing before something ancient, too ancient. The stone slab moved with unsettling ease, as if it had waited centuries for this moment. A cold breath issued from within, unnatural in the desert heat. The air was thick and damp, heavy with metal and mold. Flashlights revealed reliefs, contorted, faceless beings, stars twisted into spirals, angles that had no name. The corridors were far too tall, as if not made for humans. Echoes twisted in strange ways. Sounds didn't follow the rules. One of the technicians joked, "Sound moves weird here," then fell silent as his own voice echoed back. Several seconds late, Dr. Lena Reyes, a specialist in ancient languages, began photographing the wall inscriptions. Some symbols resembled Sumerian script, but others looked torn from nightmares. The team moved cautiously, leaving behind signal wire and reflective markers. After an hour, they entered a hall whose ceiling disappeared into shadow. The walls bore frescoes, tentacled figures hunched over a planet wrapped in spirals. Beneath it was a single phrase: "They came before the light. They sleep beneath the stone." By the fourth night, Daniel, the team's geologist, woke up drenched in sweat. Someone was calling his name from the depths of the tunnel. The others heard nothing, but on the night vision camera, a voice was captured. "Daniel, come," a tone that made the speakers crackle. Daniel insisted he had to follow it. Carter forbade it. But by morning, Daniel was gone. They found him hours later, sitting cross-legged in a corridor, grinning into the darkness. He wouldn't answer questions, just whispered, "He showed me shapes I didn't know existed." Reyes, still translating, found a new inscription on a column, one that wasn't there before. "The cycle nears. They will open their eyes." By then, tech was failing. Compasses spun wildly. Batteries drained twice as fast. Everyone's watches showed different times. The inner passages became more confusing. Mason's map no longer matched what they walked through. Hallways disappeared, tunnels doubled back. Some walls seemed solid until someone appeared beyond them. Physicist Mila noted that the corners between walls weren't true 90-degree angles. Video footage showed straight lines bending, only when no one looked. Reyes hardly spoke now. She scribbled alien symbols in her notebook, muttering, "When sand turns to glass, the gate shall open." One of the workers went mad. He clawed at his chest, screaming, "They're under my skin! He breathes through me!" Panic spread. Carter tried to maintain order, but even he felt reality begin to slip. On the 15th day, they found it, the central chamber, a dome as tall as a cathedral, covered in carvings of spirals and unblinking eyes. In its center stood a statue of something the mind struggled to grasp. Tentacles, wings, a face made of many faces. At its base lay bones, countless bones, burned, ancient, and some fresh. Mason recognized a backpack from a colleague who vanished 3 years ago in a nearby valley. A deep hum filled the air, not heard, but felt in the chest. Carter clutched his ribs, heart pounding as if it had relocated deep inside him. Reyes approached the statue and said, "Names cannot be spoken, but he knows them. He remembers." Her voice was doubled. Another tone spoke through hers. That night, Daniel returned. He simply stood at the chamber's entrance smiling. His eyes were entirely black, his grin too wide, as if the skin might tear. "You woke what should sleep," he said. "They waited. They've always waited." Carter raised his flare gun, but his hand trembled. Behind him, in the shadows, something enormous stirred. The camera caught a silhouette spreading across the wall like oil. Reyes collapsed to her knees and prayed in a language she had never studied. Blood trickled from her eyes. Mila tried the radio again, but heard only whispers. "The one who speaks from the void now sees you." Panic shattered the group. Some ran, but the tunnels had changed. People screamed that halls repeated, that exits looped. One pounded his fists against stone, sobbing. Carter tried to follow the signal line. It led to a wall. He began scrawling a diary on the stone. "We are not alone. We never were." This city wasn't built. It grew. It breathes. It remembers. Now it sees us. Survivors spoke of visions. One said the ground was softening, ready to open its mouth. Someone began speaking the same tongue as Reyes, despite never hearing it before. One by one, they vanished, into the walls or into dreams they never returned from. In a Cairo hospital, a man in white sat by the wall. He didn't know his name. Doctors called him the only survivor of the cursed dig. He didn't speak, but he drew. Every day, new symbols, the same ones from the chamber. Sometimes he whispered in a language no one knew, and the lights would flicker. When shown a photo of Professor Carter, he spoke for the first time in weeks. "He's still there. The city won't let go." That night, security cameras recorded him staring out the window. He whispered, "He has awakened." In the reflection wasn't his face,